Let me tell you about a thing called annual training at the United States Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois, where I retired from after 23 years of service in the only level 6 super maximum security prison in the federal system. Now, one year, they sent in this psychologist from the Southern Illinois University, and he was sent out there to teach us how to handle inmates a little better, because the Bureau had came up with this idea that there was a new scientific way to handle inmates. You know, the old ways just didn't work according to them. So he started out his class with, you know, how educated he was, and he was from a tough neighborhood, and he was involved in researches and had even written some textbooks. And then he said, I'm going to teach you how to do your job. Now, somebody, of course, had to ask him, like, how long did you work in a prison? Well, he never had, but he read all about it. So at one point, we took a break, you know, listening to this guy drone on, telling us some nonsense that we all knew wouldn't work. Well, there was a guy, and I'll just call him Timmy. And Timmy was a little sensitive about his nickname, and we'll just call that Tom. And so this guy, we'll call him Smitty. Smitty went and changed all the name tags in the entire room. He turned them inside out, and he wrote not Tom on all of them. And everybody in the room had a tag that said not Tom, except for the one guy, and it said Tom. So you would think that a guy would figure out that, hey, there's something up with this. Every name tag in here says not Tom, except for Tom. And so old Smitty had done that, and so he knew what was going to happen, because when you called this guy Tom, he went crazy, because he had a different name, and they were just teasing him with this nickname, and he didn't like it. So, like a moron, this here highly qualified, educated guy from the Southern Illinois University says, well, what do you think, Tom? Pointing right at this guy. And he said, what did you call me? And he said, Tom. The guy said, that ain't my goddamn name, you some bitch. And he said, holy shit, would you rather I call you Thomas? And he went crazy. The hell are you doing? How dare you? And this guy just couldn't understand what the hell was going on. So he looks over at Smitty. And Smitty said, you don't want to call him that. And he said, why not? And Smitty said some crazy thing. It didn't make any sense. Like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and the trees are in the woods. And this guy said, what? He just couldn't get it. So he gets himself all worked up and pissed off, this guy from SIU. Well, I'll show these guys. I'm going to tell them to sit down and shut up. Oh, that worked out well. That worked out real well. Because there was this other guy, Dick. We'll just call him Dick. Dick is a guy that works out every day. He takes a lot of pride in whooping the hell out of inmates when they need whooping. And these fellas are all gigantic men who work out every day. Telling you, no SIU professor with his fancy degree is gonna whip Dick. So he yaps at old Dick, and Dick says, don't you ever talk to me that way again. He said, I'll talk to you that way if I please to. Now you sit down and shut up. And he said, why don't we go outside and we'll just settle this. So this moron is gonna go outside. And we're like, no. And we physically restrain him, because if he went outside with old Dick, he was going to get his head beat into the concrete, because that's what this guy likes to do. He chokes you while smashing your head into the concrete. And it's like, what kind of a stupid guy did they send us? So at one point he decides, well, I'm done with this. I'm going to start throwing people out. So he turns to the training officer there and says, how many of these guys can I throw out of the class? The answer was none. You have to train everybody in this nonsense that you're spouting here. So he just went through it, and he just couldn't take it. He couldn't wait to get done with that class, because the guy's an idiot, and he's going to come in here and tell us. We had a combined experience with level 6 inmates in the hundreds of years. And this guy who went to college and read about prison is going to come and explain to us how to do our job. And then told us that. He couldn't have got along in that prison for more than 10 minutes. Now, the bad stuff is the administration believed all this crap, and they fell for it constantly, and they encouraged, by this SIU professor to give the inmates whatever they asked for, because, it made them more amenable to rehabilitation, which was sheer crap. All it did, and anybody that knows this, is every time your kid throws a fit, if you buy them a toy, they're going to start throwing fits just to get toys. Same thing with inmates. It wasn't any different. Well, then, eventually, a new warden comes in and says, "We gotta take back Marion." Well, the first time we believed this crap. Yeah, we're gonna take back Marion. We're gonna go to them cell houses and take all that stuff that they don't need anymore. And we did that, and we had big fights with them, and a few of us got our head beat in, things like that. We took back Marion. Well, then they immediately started listening to this crap of just give them whatever it is that they want, to include things like anything, like, "I want 4 rolls of toilet paper every day." Okay, give them 4 rolls of toilet paper every day. And then they bitch at me and say, "How come we don't have any toilet paper in the warehouse?" "Because you told me to give them 4 rolls of toilet paper every day. And now I have 60 guys in a cell house asking for 4 rolls apiece every day. A wonder you don't have any toilet paper in the warehouse." Well, then eventually it starts to cost so much money that we are going to take back Marion. Well, my friend Harry one time said about every annual training, and for the next 4 years we were going to take back Marion. He said, "Why don't they just put that on a video and play it for us?" And about the 4th time that this crap came along, and they could tell that none of us were going to fall for it, they got an elite group of suckasses. Now, these suckasses were part of us, part of the hack force. That's what they call prison guards, hacks. It stands for horse's ass carrying keys. So that's what I was, a hack. And at this time I was a senior hack. And I knew this is just bullshit again. They're just playing this game. Well, anyway, they get all these high-profile suckasses. The people that are like working in the control center every day, and they figure that they're going to get the suckasses to explain to us, the dummies, and we'll fall for it. So they go through this whole program where they bring in small groups, and the suckasses tried to keep me out of the group. They didn't want me in there because they knew I didn't believe them, because it, in fact, was bullshit. So what they did is that they tried this program again, but instead of the warden and the associate warden coming out and telling us this nonsense about we're going to take back Marion, it was this elite group of about 6 or 8 suckasses. And the exact same thing happened, except most of us lost respect for the suckasses. Nobody ever believed them again. It's like, yeah, whatever, you're a suckass. Now, speaking of suckasses, let's talk about the worst type of this officer. The worst type of this officer is the guy that gets elected to the union leadership, and he says, "Boy, I'm on your side. I'm there to help you." And what he really is there for is to get promotions and choice job assignments, and he does that by making problems go away for the administration. A case in point was I got assigned to the union for a short period of time, and they had this guy that had a dispute administration, and they called me in and said, "Hey, look, you're going to help sell this guy down the road, and in exchange for that, what do you want?" And I said, "Nothing. I want the truth to be told." "Well, no, yeah, sure. You want the truth to be told, but we want to win our case. And so you're going to help us win our case." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not one of those kind of guys that you're going to put into, say, the plumbing shop, or send me over to the electric shop, or let me work some position away from the inmates in exchange for selling my friend down the river and screwing his career, or, just making him look bad. I'm not going to do that." "Oh, you're one of those." "Yeah, I'm one of those that's loyal to my cause, to my fellow officers." Unlike some of these guys, a good case in point was the guy that got himself elected to the president of the union, and he sold us down the river every time. And people were kind of commenting on it, like, "Why do we lose all this stuff all of a sudden? What's up with that?" Well, as soon as he was done being the union president, he got promoted to lieutenant and transferred to another institution. And then we had a dispute over what was overtime and what wasn't overtime, and he came back to testify against the union. So he sold us down the river every chance he got. Now, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe.